In the trial, it was exposed that they had amped up the crime rates, that they could not prove that anyone was violent enough to be on this injunction. We had, for the first time, submitted declarations. You know how the police submits their declarations? We had community members submit declarations and then went into the courtroom and testified. So we were creating alternative pathways for the defense. And we knew that we could use these tools in different cases. So for us, it was already a win.
Did the judge give any statements or critique?
She acknowledged that there was gang issues in the community, but not to the level where they required a gang injunction. That there was already remedies, tools being used to address the gangs. Because they had demonstrated that gang crime had dropped there in Santa Barbara, so whatever, the different remedies that they were using were already effective. And she was actually really thorough with her investigation. She went to the communities, drove around, and was able to see firsthand like what they looked for, what the communities looked like. So it was contradictory to the police saying there's like these gangsters in the corner, like controlling the neighborhood. It wasn't like that at all. And during the process, the police department also had an operation, like a federal operation with the FBI and ATF, that really because they try to create like this hysteria, like, oh my goodness, these gang issues are out of control. And we were able to respond right away with an attorney and asking for the evidence. Like, out of this many people that you raided, how many are you actually prosecuting and what are they being prosecuted for?
Even though you're not from Orange County, you didn't grow up there, what was your feeling about that injunction?
So the organization I was part of has always been involved in the community. So Chicanos Unidos has been around for almost 15 years. And even before that, like members were already meeting through the Chicano movement in the 1970s. So the history of activism with our organization is dated way back. And so I may not have been raised in Santa Ana, but it was very similar, the feeling and the commitment to these communities to fight against injunctions. So while we were fighting the Santa Barbara injunction, and Chicanos Unidos was very much involved in the Santa Barbara fight. We took a lot of strategies there. And we had learned so much from the Vasquez case, the OVC case, the Vasquez versus Rackakaus case.
Well, let's talk about the OVC case. That's the Cypress case. That's DA Rackakaus versus Vasquez. Mm-hmm. What year was that? And just give us a synopsis.
So the OVC was filed in 2009. And that is one of our strongest cases as Chicanos Unidos. And when you look at fighting injunctions, you have to see there's a few people from the community with very limited resources fighting against this big monster with unlimited resources, money, attorneys, endless commitment. And then here you are with these pro bono attorneys that are trying to make a living, with people who are working full-time jobs, with defendants dealing with the everyday living. And you create your strategies and you fight and you win. So on all the injunctions that we worked on, we've had wins. Even if they've gone through, there's wins because you create up the scenario for the next one and the next one. And what they don't like is extending the process. They're so used to pushing for an injunction and getting the judge to sign off, and then there it goes into an effect. And so for them, it's really frustrating. Stop asking me this. Stop telling me to give you the discovery. Stop asking me about the evidence. I don't want to share that with you. With OVC, they had filed a gang injunction on a number of people. And then, so Chicanos Unidos got involved right away, when they were responding. So they had 15 days to respond to this 500-page document. The DA then dropped the defendants and filed the injunction on the gang. But it would still be subjective to the defendants that were initially placed on the injunction. So here you have, you avoided giving them a day in court So the way that you went about it was pushing the injunction on the gang, which they knew there wasn't going to be like the representative of the gang that was going to show up to court. So in essence, you violated like the due process rights for these defendants. That was what we were challenging. And we were able to challenge that like in court. The ACLU later joined. In Orange County and other injunctions that you see throughout the state, the injunctions will be filed on sometimes the defendants, sometimes just the injunction, sometimes both, the gang and the defendants. And in this situation, they filed it on the defendants, and when the defendants responded and were willing to challenge it, they then dropped them and filed it on the gang. And so we were able to get attorneys at that point to challenge that they were violating people's due process rights by not giving them a day in court. And they were saying, well, because they're not, unless they come forward as like the representatives of the gangs, then they are not really entitled to that. The ACLU filed a class action lawsuit against the Orange District Attorney's Office and the City of Orange for illegally placing dozens of residents under the injunction while preventing them from arguing in court that didn't belong on the injunction. And then in 2011, the federal district ruled that the OCDA and the Orange PD had violated the plaintiff's due process rights. The Orange County District Attorney's Office then appealed the decision in the district court, and then it was taken all the way to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that held, so they sided with us, that the police and the prosecution had violated the Constitution by not providing them their due process rights. So it was huge, and this actually created case law for other gang injunctions in other areas, because it said if you're going to hold somebody accountable for something, you have to give them their day in court and provide them with the evidence so that they can challenge it.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description, and thanks for watching StreetTV.net.